Welcome to the Melody Maker Show. My name is Miss Lisa, and I'll be your host for this inspiring episode titled Music in Town and Gown. We have here a musician, a musicologist, a music lecturer, and a music researcher. Without further ado, let's meet our guest. You're highly welcome, sir.
Thank
And
you.
please, can you do the honor of introducing yourself?
Thank you very much, Mercy. I'm very
Thank you, sir.
excited to be on the show.
It's a pleasure.
My name is TOSIN IBITOYE, and I'm a musician. I'm a musicologist, and I am a lecturer of music at Kwara State University. So that's a summary of myself.
Wow, yeah. I know there's more to it.
Yeah.
So, as a musicologist, can you tell us about your music research and other works?
As a musicologist, since joining the academia, I've written and published academic works in some areas of musicological research, such as ethnomusicology. That's the scientific study of music in cultural context, and ecomusicology. That's the study of music and the human environment, as well as music and gender studies, how music relates particularly to the female gender, as well as the sociology of music. So those are the areas I've written musical research on, and of course, these research outputs have been presented and in national and international conferences, and they have as well been published in journals, local journals, and international journals.
Wow, so that's a great
Thank you
achievement,
very
really.
much. Yeah.
So, please, can you clarify the meaning of this music in town, music in gown? I feel like town and gown, like,
When you say music in town and
yeah,
gown,
and gown.
you are basically bringing two different concepts together. When you say music in town, you are referring to music as a creative endeavor, as an entrepreneurial art, particularly in the mainstream society. As a singer, for instance, as an instrumentalist, as a music producer, or different facets of musical art and creative art, doing that in the mainstream society. Well, the second aspect of it, which is music in gown, it particularly refers to music within the four walls of the academic environment. For instance, a scholar artist, for instance, someone like myself who is a practicing musician as well as an educator in the educational setting, or someone who studies music towards getting certification in the university, in the polytechnics, in colleges, and educational context. So this is music in town, that's in the
Yes,
society. Music
music
in
in
gown,
gown.
that's in the academia.
Yes, wow,
Yeah,
yes. I think you made a real justice to that
yeah.
now. I
Thank you
think I
very much.
grabbed the real
Yeah.
meaning. So, can you differentiate a musician in town and a music in gown?
I, when you say a musician in gown
Yes,
and a musician in
in
town, okay,
town.
let me begin with the gown.
Okay.
A musician in gown, right, is a musician who, of course, have studied the theoretical principles guiding music making. Someone who already has the fundamental knowledge of music theory and how music theory works in terms of rhythms, in terms of keys, in terms of harmonic principles, in terms of melody makings, in terms of what makes or what differentiates different genres of music. For
Yes,
instance, when you
yes.
say Afrobeats, what defines Afrobeats? When you say pop music, what makes pop music? When you say jazz music, what are the fundamental characteristics and elements that we are going to see in jazz music, or that we are going to see in, say, high life music, or even more indigenous context like Fuji music, or
Yes, or
say
juju.
juju,
Yeah, yeah.
a Nigerian popular music style, or even a traditional style like waka, shenwele, and all of those things. So you really want to study the theoretical principles that are guiding this practice. So that's a musician in gown.
No.
But a musician in town basically looks particularly into the creative aspects of making music. The creative aspect of music making. A musician in town is more concerned about making good melodies, playing good music, making sure that his audience or her audience, as the
Yeah.
case may be, enjoys what he plays. Of course, it can also be for the sake of revenue making, where audience pays to watch or to come or to stream and to subscribe and all of those things. So that's a musician in gown and a musician in town.
So gown deals with the theoretical aspects, then
Yeah.
sound deals with the practical
Yeah,
aspects.
exactly.
Nice. Yes.
Thank you.
So how important is music education to musical practice?
You see, for any endeavor that human being lays our hand on, it is quite important to be educated in that endeavor. It is quite important to have some educational understanding of those endeavors. So oftentimes, because music is an art that it's a phenomenon that is familiar with human beings. Like it's a phenomenon that several human beings do, even right from childhood. So oftentimes we do music. Many people do music as a fun. Many people do music as part of their life because music is a part of our life, right, from birth and even to death. Music forms a part of our life. So many people think music just come, just as a creative art, as an entertaining art, as an art for more like a craft that they just like doing. So some persons just think that music practice can always be on the roadside or learning from someone or just by watching someone or just by seeing someone or just because you have the innate talent. Like I rightly said, music is a part of our life. So there are several musical arts that the innate talents are already deposited in us. The skills are already deposited in us. So many people exhibit these skills as young as they could remember, as far as when they were growing up. So nevertheless, having discovered these skills, these talents, these musical traits, it is very important to understand how these things come about. For everything practical, even outside music, for everything practical, there's a theory guiding it. There's a theoretical principle guiding everything that we see practically. So it is important to at least have the theoretical knowledge of how musical arts work, how music is created, is produced, is made. Why is this way? How do this happen? How can this be done? How can this be solved? How can this be achieved? So these are the things that differentiate when you see music education, and just music practice. So you often, it is very, very important for an entrepreneur, for instance, or a musician who already has the practical skills in music to have some of this knowledge in such a way that it can then shape their heart and, creatively increase their ability in what they do.
Wow, that was really great.
Thank you
I
very
really
much.
gained a lot.
Thank you.
So after all this echo music, all this crypto music, everything. So if I'm in church, so
Yeah.
that means if I'm playing those instruments, singing
Okay.
and all that,
Okay.
that means I can't be a certified or I haven't gone through this music education. That means I can't be a certified musical person.
No.
personnel?
Well, no. It's not as if you have not studied music in the 4 walls of the academic setting, you cannot practice. No, as a matter of fact, several musicians, most musicians, didn't study music in school.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, within the reality of the 21st century, within the reality of the contemporary digital age where computer has revolutionized how everything is made, people can basically sit in their house to learn so many things that they want to learn, especially with the aid of digital connections, YouTube, and all of that. Right. So people can practice music without actually studying music in the
Exactly.
four walls of the academic setting. Nevertheless, there will always, be that point of departure, right? That meeting point and point of departure when you have the fundamental knowledge. Don't forget that when I was talking about the principles guiding music in gown, it gives you the fundamental knowledge, the foundational knowledge of the theoretical principles that guide your practice. For instance, there are so many people that they play a lot of things, they do a lot of things on their musical instrument, they do a lot of things with their voices,
Yeah.
and when you ask them, what have you just done, they don't know it. They have no idea. What did you just play? They can't explain it. They have no idea what they did. Do you understand? So music education gives you the knowledge of what you want to do, why you want to do it. Of course, you would see several instances where people just play things even in the times they were not needed. For instance, you can be in, say, the birthday ceremony of a 70-year-old grandfather in Ilorin. Then you would see a musician there just playing series of riffs and runs, or just playing series of jazz scales and all of those things, not taking cognizance of his audience, not taking cognizance of the location where he is. So some basic music education will give you the understanding of, why should I do this here? What do I need to do here? Why am I doing this? You will ask yourself, okay, do I actually need to do this? Of course, you would also see several instances. Look at the pop industry. You would see several instances where popular artists have rancors, have issues, have crisis that stems from issues from their agreement, the original agreement. People just want to blow, people just want to become popular, people just want to do music, neglecting the fact that there is the place of understanding the agreement you are signing. Now, these are the things that education gives you. You want to know, why am I signing this agreement? Why am I doing this? What do we gain from this? When is this coming to an end? And all
Because
of
people
these things.
don't
So,
read it. If they just see the money, they just sign it
of
direct.
course, it's just about making music. It's just about being popular.
Good.
So these are the things getting education gives to you. Yeah.
Good. That means those who are, singing. Some people they didn't go through all this
Yeah.
education, because I'm
Yeah.
really learning a lot now.
Yeah.
They didn't go through all
Exactly.
these things, but they're still producing music. Sometimes it's all about the beats.
Of
They might not
course,
even have
of
the
course,
voice, but
of
they're
course.
just
Yeah,
singing. So that means
yeah.
they have a limit to
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah. So the education just gives you the needed exposure, the needed understanding, in addition to your creative skills, your creative talent that is already embedded
So
in
it's
you
an
that you have
added
shaped.
advantage.
Exactly.
Wow, this is so interesting. This is so inspiring, and I gained a lot, a lot. And so, what advice do you give to the musicians who are in the aspect of music in town?
Okay. Well, you see, let me quickly re-emphasize
Okay.
again that music in gown, right, is basically all about the study of music, understanding how music works theoretically, right? Music in gown. Nevertheless, for musicians that are in town that didn't pass through the gown, or do not have the privilege of going through the gown, this is 21st century. There are so many opportunities, there are so many certifications
Yes, a lot.
that are bound online. So people can always learn through this medium. That is, if the person do not want to really come into the four walls of the academic setting, or go through the stress of studying for 4 years in the university, or as the case may be. So people can always take courses online, certifications online, read materials online, study about how some of these things work, and then infuse it into their practice. There is always a way it will widen their practice, when they understand how what they are practicing works. Like you mentioned, your keyboardist, for example, your keyboardist really needs to know how the keys come about. Like, what is the relationship with these keys? What is the theory that guides these keys? For instance, I'm on a minor key. What relationship do my minor key have to its relative major?
Okay, sorry. So for him to be able to play that keyboard, that means he has gone through the music in gown.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. For him to play the keyboard, he might have just learnt that practically in town. But then when he goes through some certifications,
Yes.
which gives you the theoretical knowledge of how these things work, it will shape in and develop his practice even more than what he is doing at the moment. So that is the benefits that the gown can give someone in town.
Good. So having both is just the best.
Is
just
very good.
Perfect.
It's very good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who have gone through music in gown,
Yeah.
but are not practicing in town,
Yeah.
what's your opinion on that?
Well, like I rightly mentioned, it's always good to have a blend of both.
Okay.
Town and gown. It shapings what you do. It shapings what you know. But then we would always have people who went to school, but then they didn't allow the school to pass through them.
Yes.
That's that aspect. And of course, we would always have people who studied in school, but then they found purpose, maybe in another field or in another endeavor generally. But then it is always good when people have the skills in both, right? And people must always know that you can't always learn everything in the school.
Yes.
You can't always have every of the knowledge that requires you to do what you want to do well in school. So you must always learn from town. As you learn in school, you learn in town. So you have a blend of town and gown, and it makes your work or your product absolutely good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
and
very
not
much
not everyone can go to school to learn all that at all. And again, in this age, everybody they are looking for practical stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not looking at the theoretical aspect again, at all. Like for me,
Yeah.
I prefer what I can see,
Yeah.
not what I can see.
Yeah. You see, the thing about seeing and not seeing is this: anything you do practically, there are some principles guiding it.
Okay.
Now, what you just have to do or have to know is that what you learned theory doesn't just stay in the book, or what we teach theoretically doesn't just remain as theory, grammar. There must always be the practical application of those theories. And for every practical applications, there are theoretical principles guiding it. So both work hand in hand. Yeah.
Okay. This was an exciting show, and I really loved having you here. I really want you to come again. Yes, because I really gained a lot.
I would really be excited to come on the show again. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I should be thanking you. Thanks a lot. So I hope, and I even know that the viewers have gained a lot. So if you have any question, just drop it down below the comment section, and we'll do well to attend to each and every question. So thank you very much for having here. I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Mercy.
Thank you, everyone. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next episode. Have a nice time.